Hey you guys, I told you I would make another Marriage Monday video this week and post it later in the week. Well, it is now Saturday and I'm finally doing this video. My daughter's at ballet, my boys are at my brother's house, my husband is at work. He's actually working, filling in for me because I had an event to do this morning, so shout out to you, boo. But I wanted to answer one of the questions that was posed to me in my stories, and that is, what if the wife makes more money than the husband? This question actually calls us to consider a few things. So in no particular order, I'm going to just mention some things I think that have to be considered when addressing this. The first thing I want us to consider is, why does he make less money? Is it pointing to his career options? Did he go to school? Did he go to trade school? Does he have a skill set that can bring a substantial amount of income into the household? Is he using all of his resources, his God-given talent, to turn that into income for his family, right? So we understand that the burden of income is typically on the husband to be the provider for that home. So if you're with someone who has no desire to provide, that's a problem. So with that, does he have a lack of motivation to find better work? I have no problem with someone taking on jobs that, you know, other people in society would deem less than, or, you know, beneath them. I think it's pretty noble to do things like that. But in the same regard, depending on the lifestyle that you want to live, does it bring enough income into the household? The reason why that's important is because even if the wife does not feel obligated to make more money, is the family dependent on her income? A lady at my church gave my husband and I some really great advice when we were about to buy a house, and she basically said, don't buy a house that you have to have two incomes to support, right? You want to live a lifestyle that can be supported on one income. Why is that important? If your wife has children, she has the potential to be off work for a while, not only through maternity leave, but let's say she has to be put on bed rest. Now your family is dependent on the income that she is not able to bring into the home. She may feel some stress from not being able to supply what the home needs, and now he feels stressed. Everybody's stressed, and she's already on bed rest. That's not a good situation to be in. So that's just one, example of why you don't want to have to depend on two incomes. The other thing is, why are you depending on two incomes? Sometimes especially in the social media world, we look at what everybody else is doing. Oh, they got this car and they have all these materialistic things, and we compare ourselves to them, and then it creates this desire for us to want to live this lavish lifestyle. I want to buy that type of purse, or I want to drive that type of car, and that covetousness causes you to, it snowballs into this cycle of sin where you're comparing yourselves to others. You want what they have, you begin to pursue it, and now we're depending on her income in order to support this lavish lifestyle that we desired because we were coveting what somebody else was doing. That's not good. So with that, we also have to address our value system. Since we, are talking about the lifestyles that we want to live, we have to address the value system. A dollar amount does not equate to the value of that thing. Let's say I make multiple six-figure income, but I'm absent from my home. Can a dollar sign be placed on my absence from the home? If God calls me, and which he does, he calls us to be the keepers of the home, but I'm so focused on, chasing corporate America or chasing money. That's why the scripture says you cannot serve God and mammon. That mammon is a system of money. And really, if you look around, it's either one or the other. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. So not the money itself, because money answereth all things. That's also in scripture. But the love of money. So am I allowing my love for money and a love of a lavish lifestyle to trump my call to be the keeper of my home? So that's one thing you have to address, your value system. Another thing that needs to be addressed is the maturity of both persons involved. Is the husband going to feel devalued because of a paycheck that his wife brings in that happens to be larger than his? If that's the case, he doesn't need to be with someone who makes more money than him until he, can mature behind that. On the flip side of that, does she devalue him because she makes more money? Because mind you, we come together to become one. So all of our finances become one, our debts become one. We bring debts into marriage, which people don't like to address sometimes. You don't know his credit score. No, talk about the credit score. Okay, let's talk about some debt. Let's talk about what you're bringing into this marriage and what I'm now going to have to deal with. Do you have to talk about those things? Look, woman, you're about to give your entire life to someone, to be under submission into someone else. You need to know what situation you're getting into. And this is a side note, husbands, men, women want to feel secure, period. So she might not want to let go of that high paying job if she does not feel secure in your ability to secure income for the household. So if you can lock down the income and lock down the, you know, the substantial amount of income that your household needs, then I will probably bet that she would not mind switching up her profession or something to that effect. I'm not saying throw it to the side. I'm not saying that you have to be doing nothing and staying at home, being homely in order to be fulfilled or be scripture. If we look at the Proverbs 31 woman, she was working in and out of the home, but there was more emphasis on what she was doing in the home, rising early to make sure her house was fed. You know, she was selling things in the street. She was selling fine garments and things like that. So she was being very resourceful with her time, but she did not neglect her role in the home. So that's, you know, when we talk about being the Proverbs 31 woman, that's a good example to model ourselves after. We don't have to pursue, you know, money and a dollar sign, because your absence from the home can't be equated, you know, with the dollar sign. You look up 20 years from now and your children don't love God because you weren't there to teach them about God. You just took them to church, but you did not instill that into them. In Deuteronomy, God was telling the Israelites, hey, in the way that you go, teach them when you're going, teach them in your uprising, teach them when you're sitting down. When I read that scripture, it told me, hey, we are the first ones to disciple our children. That's such a disservice to my family to pursue money and to pursue mammon rather than making sure my children get to know God, you know. So the main things I want us to take away from this is we have to assess our values. We have to look at why we are where we are. If we are, you know, pursuing money and therefore putting that lifestyle above what God calls us to, that money is an idol and it's really not going to be worth it. You know, the last time you close your eyes, it's not going to be worth it when you have spent your life making money but have not put value into your home. So rather than just addressing, you know, about the wife making more money, there's some insecurity that probably needs to be addressed with that. Because once you come together and you become one, it's one pot anyway. I'm not saying, like, I'm not speaking against having different accounts for certain things. Understand that when we come together to be one. And it's deeper than the wife just making more. I think it's more about us assessing our values. Anything that can get in the way of our God-given roles is not okay. So, yeah, that's how I feel about a wife making more money than the husband. By the time I edit this video, I hope it makes sense because I'm kind of all over the place, I know, but there's just so many things that need to be addressed with that. I want these Marriage Monday posts to be conversation starters. So, hey, let's talk about it in the comments. If you disagree, I love to hear, you know, other opinions or other points of view, because I know I do not know it all. I really just want us to start conversations around these things, because I think that is one of the things that hinder people after they get married. They find out that there are a lot of conversations and expectations that were not addressed before they walk down the aisle, and then that adds to the stress or causes stress and discord in their relationship. So I just want to start these conversations, especially for people pursuing marriage. Maybe you are nowhere near, maybe you aren't even dating anyone right now. This still needs to be addressed. Ask about that credit score. Ask about his plans for the future. Ask about his plans to make money for your household and secure the bag while still submitting to God. So yeah, see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.